Seminoles down in Florida. So they ain't the original inhabitants. They got some cheek to say that they're the Americans and whatnot.
That's right. When the word America comes from the word Amerigo, which means bitter, man. And who are the bitter people, man? The Israelites, because we was brought over there into captivity through the transatlantic slave trade, man. So we're the people who's bitter in America, man. You know, because of the curses. Now this is a page on Wikipedia. It's called White People. This is the history of the term. It says the notion of white people or white race as a large group of populations contrasting with a non-white or colored originates in the 17th century. So basically, man, that term white people, white, is basically a new term which was placed upon you Edomites by yourselves, man, to call yourself pure. You know, you're the pure people. But you ain't the pure people, man, because we just read who the people that the Lord made a covenant with, and they were the pure people, man. So if we were the pure people, why are we now the opposite to that, man, called black? Because it was the so-called white man that did that, man. That's why in the time of the 1400s, a time known as the Renaissance, it was called the rebirth, man. Because they want to take us down and take our faces down and put their faces up, which are known today as so-called white people. Because they're the devil, man. Now we're going to expose some of Esau's proud antics and his high-mindedness, because he liked to claim that he invented everything and they're so great, you know, like a lot of these coons abroad seem to think, and that old doctrine that the America and Britain, the floors, the pavements paved with gold, you know, and that's nothing but fallacy, man. Because we're all catching, the curses don't just happen in the West Indies or Africa. Okay, Israel was scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, so we catch hell no matter where we are, man. And we invented and built everything, man. But this is just to bring out some of the high-minded and pride of Esau. This is called the history of the white race. Who are we? Where we came from. It says rockets which can take men to the moon. Now as we all know, and if you didn't know, the so-called white man didn't actually go to the moon. And how you know that? If you've done a little research, you'll know that that was all Hollywood antics, man, where they recorded in a studio and used their technology to falsify that they actually went, you know. And on top of that, you had a guy named by the name of Buzz Aldrin. Okay, when he was questioned about it, he got upset and punched the guy in the face and went off crying, man. So a lot of people are just fooled by that's why the scripture says the simple believeth every word. Just because the so-called white man claims that he invented this and claims that he did that, it's not facts, man. You know, that's why the scripture does say simple believe every word, man. Because our people, like the scripture says, my people are destroyed through lack of knowledge, man. Because you don't know anything, man. What do you know? Now on the topic of rockets, bro, can you grab that scripture? Jacob is a formidable thing.
Jeremiah 50:19. The portion of Jacob is not like them.
Right, the portion of Jacob is not like them. Who does Jacob represent? The 12 tribes. Yeah? The portion of Jacob is not like them. The them represents the other nations. So Esau is involved in that, because they're the Edomites. Read on.
For he is the former of all things.
The former of all things, man. So, through the Israelites, man, we invented everything, man. There's nothing that we didn't invent, man. And all you gotta do is do a little research on black inventors. You know, and we've got a few we're gonna go through today. Got any more on that?
Israel is the rod of his inheritance, and the Lord of hosts is his name.
Right, man. So we have an inheritance with the Lord, man. Not these so-called white people, man. I'm gonna read on. It says, aircraft which can carry hundreds of people, thousands of miles in a few hours. Well, check this. That was the blessing of Esau. Brother can read it.
Genesis 27:38. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept.
Right, why was Esau weeping? Because our forefather Jacob got the blessings of the inheritance of the earth. Read on.
And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of heaven from above, and by thy sword shalt thou live.
Right, so there you have it, man. Read it again.
And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother.
Right, so the dew of heaven is the part where Esau is going to be able to fly freely for a period of time in the skies, you know. Because what Esau likes to do, he likes to create like anything that the Most High made, he wants to try and copy it. So the Most High had chariots, you know, and what they also known as UFOs, you know, and flying objects. Well, Esau wanted to go throughout the skies as well, the so-called heavens, right? And that was Esau's blessing, which otherwise known today as an aircraft, which can carry hundreds of people, thousands of miles in a few hours. Read on. Computers which have the processing power of hundreds of thousands of people. Right. Now, who invented the, what was it, the internet?
Yeah, the Jake, yeah, Nigerian, west coast of Africa, Jake.
Right. This is a page called about.com called Inventors. An interview with Philip Amig Wali. The early life of Philip Amig Wali. Supercomputers. I'm going to read this little caption here. Here he is, a black man, right?
So-called black man.
A so-called black man, right? Because he's an Israelite, man. Okay? And he's also Nigerian, man. Now, you had Israelites that fled to the west coast of Africa, man. You know, to the interiors of the west coast of Africa. Which the Lord told them to go there, man. You know, which were the three tribes that went there was Judah, Benjamin, and Levite. That's how you know this guy's a Jake, man, because we have descendants at the four corners, man. And it says, Nigerian-born Dr. Philip Amig Wali first entered the limelight in 1989 when he won the prestigious Gordon Bell Prize for his work. With massively parallel computers, he programmed the connection machine to compute a world record 3.1 billion calculations per second using 65,536 processors to simulate oil reservoirs, with over 41 inventions submitted to the US Patent and Trademark Office. Philip Amigwali is making big waves in the supercomputer industry. Amazing achievements only surpassed by an even more amazing life. So you see it there, man. Jake's a very smart man, but it was given when anyone makes anything, they're given that inspiration through the Most High. People don't just can't create anything without the inspiration of the Most High dealing with them. How do I know that? Can you get me Isaiah 54 and 15 up?
Isaiah 54 and 14. In righteousness shalt thou be established. Thou shalt be far from oppression, for thou shalt not fear, and from terror, for it shall not come near thee. Behold, they shall surely gather together, but not by me. Whosoever shall gather together against thee shall fall for thy sake. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy.
Right, so who created the waster to destroy? The Most High. And it also said, I create the smith that bloweth the coals. What's a smith? A modern day smith is also known as a scientist. Okay? And the scripture says, I created the smith. So the Lord gave inspiration to these scientists to create the instrument for his work. And what are those instruments for his work? They're also known as intercontinental ballistic missiles. Okay? Because there's going to be a World War III where all the world's artillery and weapons of mass destruction are going to be used on where the world knows as America. And stray missiles and so forth are going to be shot backwards and forth between different countries, i.e. Britain and so forth.
Go precept.
Go ahead, bro.
Proverbs 20 and 24. Man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way?
Right, man. So at the end of the day, a man can't say that it was by himself that he made this or he did it because of science, you know, because you have to give praise and honor unto the Most High, because that's why certain kingdoms had to go down, because they didn't want to give honor and praise to the name Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. So they had to go down, man. That's why in our kingdom, which is going to be established in the name Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, is going to be everlasting, man. It says arithmetic and geometry, the basics of science which made such flights possible. The telephone, an instrument which enables people thousands of kilometers away from each to converse as if they were next to each other. Philosophers, kings, queens, wise rulers, evil rulers.
Or could I just say this? All those philosophers, because they say, these white people say civilization started with the Greeks, but all them philosophers back in ancient Greece were Jakes, Socrates, all these other, I can't remember their names, man. Socrates, forgive me, we could show their pictures, post-production, pictures will go up, but they were all Jakes. They're all dark-skinned men. They were Hebrew Israelites.
That's right, man.
So the foundations of your kingdom, once again, is owed to Jake, man, because it says Jacob is a former of all things.
That's right, right. Through the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai.
Of course.
And here it says philosophers, kings, queens, and wise rulers, evil rulers. The people that rule in the Dark Ages, the kings and the queens, were all Jakes, man. You know?
And how you know that as well is because Esau is all about democracy, man. We all join, share the rulership, because you had the ancient Romans during the time of Remus and Remus. Yeah, during that time, they had kings that sat on the throne. But then when you have the democratic state of Rome that got established by these Edomites, that's